Hello and welcome back to Procurement and Supply Chain Live. I'm Marcus Law and I'm joined by David Loseby, who's just finished a fireside chat on our second stage. So David, if you introduce yourself for us, please.
Yes, thank you. My name's David Loseby. I'll probably classify myself as a pracademic. I'm the Chief Behavioural Science Officer for SAPICO, also a Professor of Research Impact in Supply Chain Management at Leeds University Business School and a visiting scholar at the University of East Anglia.
So the fireside chat was about Agile and supply chains through digitalisation. If you could tell me a bit about the importance of being agile and dynamic in the supply chain.
Well, I think perhaps with recent events, people will recognise that supply chains are subject to, I'll call it, demand and notices of changes to supply almost at the drop of a hat. So today, modern supply chains have to be able to be a lot more agile, flexible, and adept at actually responding to those changes in demand. I think even the use of historical data is not sufficient to be able to manage and plan the demand that is coming through supply chains today.
So how important is collaboration in all of this?
Wow, collaboration I think is I would say an absolute must, a priority. We can't really effectively manage supply chains without good collaboration, and that in some ways is actually quite a shift from I'll call it the traditional thinking around supply chains and how organizations were structured that would send out demand signals, the supply chain would respond and simply conform. I think what we're expecting now is this iteration of engagement and sharing of information, signals, insights, possibilities, options, and so this whole sort of dynamic sort of scenario planning that we're starting to see within supply chains is so much more important, and I think it will become more and more of a feature of the way in which supply chains are constructed in the future, as well as, dare I say, the way in which we then contract and engage with our supply chain partners. There has to be a lot more what I call two-way interaction rather than a one-way direction, if you like, that has pervaded sort of supply chains in years past.
Of course, the use of data is very important. There was a figure in there, a statement in the fireside chat about it not just being supply chain, not just being physical objects, but being dynamic and being data as well. I mean, that's hugely important.
It is hugely important, and I think probably what people perhaps need to recognise is that data is an asset in its own right. It's a saleable commodity in its own right, and that the whole sort of utilisation of data and the ability to be able to recognise this as a dynamic factor, not a static factor. In fact, in the fireside chat that we just come from, it was a good recognition of the fact that the data that we have in systems has to be recognised as being a dynamic factor, not a static factor. In fact, those supply chains that are, I'll call it, wedded to static data are unfortunately going to be the ones that are I'll call it, the casualties in the new paradigm of supply chains that are far more dynamic. And so again, this ability to be able to, what I call sense make, apply judgment to data sets, recognize when data is not, how can I put it, compatible with other sets of data, and, dare I say, the future in terms of data and reporting, particularly with new legislation, particularly in ESG, sustainability, human rights, provenance of goods and items, will become so much more important. So I think this is really just the start of the journey. I think what we're going to see is a true acceleration of supply chain data and digitalization in the future. And so therefore I think the skill sets and indeed the way in which we utilize data is going to, I'll call it, change shape and quite quickly over the next few years.
Fantastic. And looking ahead now to the rest of the day, we've got an exciting calendar the rest of the day at Procurement and Supply Chain Live. How are you finding it? Are you enjoying yourself?
No, it's a fantastic location. We're probably fortunate as we sit here at the moment. We're We're sitting opposite the Houses of Parliament, so what better location to be in, really, in central London, and we're very lucky it's not raining, so even better still. So no, it's a great location and lots of space, lots of people to talk to. And as I look away from this set here, I can see several people that I know, and again, it's great for networking. So and of course we've got the Sapico stand here today, so that people are welcome to come and pass by, and lots of other stands to go and chat to people and speak about the different things that are happening.
Well, fantastic. Thank you, David, for coming on. There's lots more to cover the rest of the day, and you can follow up, watch on demand Food Brother as well.